texted me right after the final score on Sunday and said that was the worst football game I ever watched in my life. He said, "Give me 3.5 hours of my life back." So obviously, my Philadelphia Eagles grinded out against Josh's Browns in Philly, 20-16. I'll say this, from an Eagles perspective, right? Everybody wants to fire Nick Sirianni because he's chirping back at the fans. And, he shaved his head and he's bald and he's a clown and they only beat the Browns by 4 points and all this. And I'll just say this. There were a lot of good signs, albeit with the score of what it was, for my Eagles, I think, actually moving forward. Number one was Jalen Hurts did not turn the football over, which he hadn't done in, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 games, something like that, coming off a bye. I thought that was a really good sign moving forward. Number two, regardless of the Browns only scored 16 points, the defense really only gave up 9 points. If Myles Garrett doesn't block that field goal, it's 13-3 and a half, and I really feel like it's a different game. Philly comes out in the second half. It's not 10-10. It was a 10-point swing there. You have a 10-point lead. Defense only gave up 3 field goals while missing the likes of Darius Slay in the secondary. And number three, I get it. I know it's the Browns offensive line. It's a human turnstile. But my pass rush actually showed up. They had 6 sacks entering Sunday. They got 5 on Sunday. So that's stuff to build on along with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown making plays.
Brandon, how can you say they showed up? They were playing Joe off the street. That was who they were running from. They were busting through that line like it was nothing. They didn't show up. They just played the worst team I've ever seen. I needed ibuprofen by halftime.
I'm sorry, but it says the final score was 20-16. It was not that close. The only reason the Browns even made this somewhat of a game is because of that blocked field goal.
And that's my point. That's why I actually feel good about Philly, because that score does not indicate to me Philly dominated the game.
Yeah, but my biggest problem with Philly from this game is, where the heck is your run game? You did not use Saquon Barkley enough and your overall running game against the Browns.
Well, I think that the defense sort of dictated that. You could see Jim Schwartz trying to bring a lot of blitz up the middle, and they tried to throw early on outside Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Did not work early on in those go routes, so they did change it up. I think Philly is, from what I've seen, again, I've watched all 6 games this year, I get a sense that we are really trying to conserve Saquon Barkley. We're not trying to feed him 20, 25 carries a game. You could say that's stupid, and I'll hear your argument for it. But I am seeing a team that is really still, again, trying to figure out who exactly they are on offense. And I think, again, that was as clean of a game, at least offensively. Every drive was not perfect, and there was definitely some frustrating play calls. But in terms of not turning the football over, getting in and out of the operation, and moving the football, that was as clean as I've seen in a long time. Maybe my standards are just low. I just took it as, okay, we won this game. Let's get some building blocks, and let's see now if we can finish drives.
Sorry, Doc. You were favored by 9.5 coming into this game. Your offense should have eaten the Browns defense for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And
that's exactly what I was gonna say. You were favored by 9, and then you win the game in your idiotic. Sorry, Josh, I got to rant about this Philly. I got to rant about it. Your idiotic coach is going up to his own fans saying, "Let me hear it, let me hear it." What are you talking about? You're horrible. You need to be gone. Yeah, I don't care about Philadelphia. I actually don't like Jalen Hurts. Anyone who knows me knows I talk the most crap about Jalen Hurts. But Nick Sirianni, you need to go. You need to be on the first flight out of Philly. Oh, my goodness. I can't do this anymore.
I am the only Eagles fan in the world who actually likes Nick Sirianni. And I told Josh this when we did our video correlation last week. Nick Sirianni, he has the best winning percentage of any coach in the history of our franchise.
And Kevin Stefanski has 2 Coach of the Years, and look at where he's at.
Okay, wait, Jalen. Actually, let me talk about that aspect for a second. Okay, Brandon has left the building. But
Brandon couldn't handle it. But no, I'm just kidding. But
no, Jalen, I want to talk about what you just said about Kevin Stefanski winning Coach of the Year twice. Think about this for a second. The Cleveland Browns made the playoffs last season, not because of Deshaun Watson at quarterback, but because of P.J. Walker, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and Joe Flacco. Why do I say that? Well, it's because P.J. Walker was the quarterback when the Browns beat the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, Deshaun Watson started the game, but who came in and ultimately won the game against the Indianapolis Colts? It was P.J. Walker. Yes, we got some ref ball help in that game against the Colts, but my point still stands. And then Dorian Thompson-Robinson won that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a divisional game, and it's the Steelers, so it's an important matchup. And then Joe Flacco comes in late in the season, and he wins the games against the Jacksonville Jaguars, Chicago Bears, Houston Texans, and New York Jets. Not one time in there did I say the Browns got into the playoffs because of Deshaun Watson. That's all.
On what level did I defend Deshaun Watson?
No, Jalen. My point there, I'm not saying you defended Deshaun Watson. My point is that's credit to Kevin Stefanski. That's my point.
Let me ask you this, though. Has he won a playoff game? Has he been on the sideline in a playoff win in Cleveland?
No, I understand that. But look, even it looks like this season is quickly going in a downward spiral.
Oh, it's done. It's not in a downward.
Oh, it's over. It's been over.
You just took it away on Mark Cooper. It's over.
Okay, fair enough. This season is a wash. Done. We're probably gonna be what, 3-14?
How about 1-16? I'm serious.
Okay,
it's on the board. Jalen, real quick, I was telling Josh last week, do you see a for sure winnable game the rest of their way on their schedule?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I was looking at the schedule because me and my buddies are trying to find a game to go to, and I'm scrolling. You got Cincinnati. Well, that's probably a loss. Pittsburgh somewhere in there. That's definitely a loss. You got all the divisional games. Lamar Jackson going to have a field day with us. You got Kansas City.
Maybe at New Orleans you could talk me into.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
I mean, New Orleans is going to start Spencer Rattler for the rest of the year, in my opinion. They're done. I mean, I think the Saints are off to 2-0. They may end up being 2-8 here.
Still not worse than us. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair. By the way, they only beat Jacksonville because they got that safety. I mean, you can make the argument.
Jalen, all I was trying to say there, I'm not suggesting that you were defending Deshaun Watson. That wasn't my point. I'm just saying that I know this season is done. I'm just saying I don't want people to start the conversation of should Kevin Stefanski be on the hot seat. I'm not suggesting you said that at all, Jalen. Again, I'm just saying I don't want people to see this season, see how bad we are, and think, oh, Kevin Stefanski should be on the hot seat. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do, but I'm sorry, Josh. I think he should be on the hot seat. No,
I think everything is on the table right now. I don't think Andrew Berry, for the record, is getting enough blame for putting the roster together because his draft picks have been abysmal during the past 3 years. But I think, this decision to me, I think Kevin Stefanski's taking one for the team, saying he gives Watts the best chance to win. I don't believe that for one bit. I don't think Kevin Stefanski believes that. I mean,
he's the Haslam's puppet.
Well, no. And by the way, I told you this last week, Josh. I have inside information that I will not give out, but everybody blaming the Haslams, I'll say that's not who you think it is in that Cleveland Browns organization making these decisions. And again, I'm not going to write out my source on it. I have a very good source on it. We just texted privately this week. I'll leave it at that. But I think, and again, what I'm being told is everything is on the table. And I think the Browns are tanking this year. You can clearly see that. They're going to try to get rid of Watson. They're going to try to add a new quarterback, whether it's in the draft or what have you. And that's that.
I mean, you're looking at your Eagles. They play the Giants this week. If you guys have a hard time with the Giants, then you really got issues. I get it.
Cincinnati did. Do we think they have issues? Because I really don't. I think Cincinnati's still a playoff team.
No, but from what you came from, Brandon, what you had the biggest collapse maybe I've ever seen in my young life of watching football. Last year was horrible. Jason Kelsey didn't even want to play football, for goodness sake. And now,
by the way, he came out and defended Sirianni. He said he wasn't the problem.
Your own coach, excuse my language, is a douchebag. Your own coach is taunting your own fans.
I like it. I'm the only person in the world that likes it.
I'm sure you like it. You're the only person within. If you went to Philly and said that, if you went to Philly and said, I like Nick Sirianni, they'd probably punch you in the face.
Probably would. I've never agreed with a Philly fan in my life. I hate Philadelphia fans. It's like I hate Cleveland fans besides the two of you that I'm sitting with right now.
Will the real Jalen Hurts please stand up?
He did. He had a good game on Sunday.
Which version of Jalen Hurts are we getting this season? The 2022 MVP version or the version we had last year?
I think it's the middle. I think it's what you saw on Sunday, which was a very good game. Not as good as what he had in that 2022 game. But again, that was the best game Hurts has played since the Buffalo game last year. And it's not even close.
And that's disappointing. That is disappointing to know that.
Bingo, Jalen. 100% you are on the mark there, Jalen.
But I think you guys don't understand how hard it is to win in this league because you guys have had one winning season your whole lives.
I'm a Lions fan. I'm a Lions fan. I know